Thank you so much for tuning in. I am the author, Robertson. We're lit this week. You need to watch this video so you know what we did this week in Writing with Robbie to get hype. You probably know from the title of this video. Let's get a still too. Yeah, so we probably won't use that, but I gotta go, so enjoy this video. It is just after 6 a.m. on Monday rising. I do have to work today, and I should be working Mondays going forward. I'm completely dressed, ready, looking like, hey, what you doing? How you been? Where you at? Hey, friend. Nobody knows me like you do. Anyway, doesn't matter. What I actually came here to say is that I'm excited to have a little bit of extra time to write. I also watched a video from a booktuber whose name I don't know because I only just found her. The algorithm was like, after her video, your video was suggested. So I was like, great. I don't know who watched it, but somebody did. So that's really cool. Hopefully you stuck around. I know I got a new subscriber, so I would love it if that means I'm gonna see a lot more views on my previous video as well as this one. I look so cute. I'm distracted. I'm supposed to be looking at the lens. Oh my god. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock out about an hour and 20. Hold on. Yeah, about an hour and 20 of writing, hopefully even with my breaks. I did not do a language lesson yet today, and I stayed in the bed from basically 3 to almost 4 because I was like, hopefully that I could go back to sleep. And after a while I was like, okay, it's not happening, and I'm starting to get excited about getting out of bed. So that only ended up being about 5 hours of sleep. I stayed up late to edit and post, but I feel great. I feel like I should never eat again. I was just so full when I went to bed from the dinner that I went to. I got stood up, but that's okay because I was just going to have a chit chat and a kiki anyway. And I was like, okay, well, I'm here already. May as well get myself dinner and a drink. Maybe I'll post that. But yeah, I went home, schwasty pants and terribly full. And I ate something that I would have rather cooked myself. And I feel like kind of sick, like just don't feel great. So I low-key want to fast today, but I have a rice pudding that I need to finish eating. It's gonna take me 2 days. So I decided I'll have that and make my scrambled eggs. And instead of eating lunch at work and possibly a light breakfast before, I'll just make a breakfast, eat it at work, and then I probably won't eat again today, and going to bed early so I can get up early tomorrow and write some more. So yeah, maybe I'll see you later today, probably see you tomorrow. I go to cut the video off and the lighting gets better, but anyway. So just to show how I time myself, as you can see, like I let this play the whole time. It's just some house music, and you can see, can you see? No, there you go. Okay, you can see I've been sitting here for an hour and a half almost, letting it play, but I've only actually written, this is my subliminal I like to listen to, I only actually wrote about 50 minutes and 8 seconds because I pause this when I leave the room versus this one I play even when I leave the room. So yeah. That is basically just to confirm that I was over here for an hour and a half, but that ended up being somehow 50 minutes of writing. I am starving, so let's go. Let's get out of here. Hi. So today we got about 40 minutes, even with all the breaks of writing. So yeah, nice solid 40 minutes. Everything that I moved over was pretty short, but it inspired a lot of new notes, which typically I just have to like place the old ones and maybe like tweak them a little bit to, you know, be updated for how things have changed. But this one was more like a dash of old notes with a ton of new inspiration. So a lot of things that came together more satisfyingly. Some things that I ended up utilizing in the bonus chapter of Exposing Lesser Demons. If you have not read the bonus chapter, do yourself a favor because, ooh, you heard my gap whistle, doesn't matter. do yourself a favor, because it's literally the best part of the book. Like, it's literally, anybody who's read that has understood the gravity of the series to come. Also, of course, the end of Exposing Lesser Demons. If you got all the way to the chapter, My Portion Forever, which is my favorite chapter, I think it's everybody's favorite chapter, because that's when things kind of crack open, and it's like the climax, but it gives you so many more questions. It's satisfying because you didn't see that coming in so many ways. It's like part of it you should have seen coming, but nobody really has. And then part of it, there was no way you could have guessed, except for if you really understand. Like, if you have a lot of Piscean friends, maybe, oh, but I didn't say her zodiac sign until the bonus chapter. And then I had a character be like, that explains so much. If you know about Pisces, once you are like, oh, she's a Pisces, the feeling is, oh, that explains so much. Nothing against Pisces. Nothing against Pisces, except, and this doesn't spoil anything, but except that they can be very forgiving of exes. They can be like the most forgiving sign, because they're genuinely extremely loving. So an ex comes back with an apology, Pisces is likely to trust that that person is actually apologetic or resentful of their past behavior. So yeah, I found some, things that would have been in later parts of the book, but I ended up putting it in the bonus chapter, and I have no regrets. I don't think there was a better place to put it. And the bonus chapter is going to be in the sequel, so you do have another chance to read that epilogue as it pertains to the sequel, which was initially going to be the first book. So Exposing Lesser Demons was not necessarily going to exist. But yeah, Deana has a story to tell. I knew she had a story to tell. I knew it didn't fit in the series as it is going to be the next 3 books. They were going to be the only 3 books. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to have to tell her story at some point. So she'll have a small book. And then I was like, you know what? A small book is a great way to introduce myself as an author, because to put out a book as big as the next one as a completely unknown indie author, it would be a lot for people to commit to reading for somebody that they've never heard of. Reading Exposing Lesser Demons, I have sort of a tiny cult following where people are like, where's that next book? And it's so big, and I just keep telling them it's so massive, and they're like, great, I love it, I want a big one. And so it's if you read Exposing Lesser Demons, especially the bonus chapter, you desire a big fat sequel, and that's what's coming. And I'm so close. I got up to page 1066, and I would love it. I don't know, we can pull it up, but I'm gonna try to pull it up, man. I would love it if I can get to 1100 by the end of this week. That would be so huge. Even if I don't, but that would be like, because now the document, it was at like 1212 a week ago. I don't know. But with adding to, just altering the notes, the old notes to fit the new notes, and then moving that into the appropriate places, adding that new stuff, it moved the document to now it's up to 1221 pages. So if I get up to 1100, that means we only have 121, probably a little more to go by the time I get there. And I'm just really thrilled, but that would be so huge to get that far, because then that means we just have like 100 plus pages to go. If I can get to 1100 this week, that means maybe 2 or 3 more weeks with this document. But hopefully come January, I don't have to devote my whole end of my weeks. I have 2 days off right now, just 2, Saturday and Sunday. I would hate to commit that to other projects every weekend, but I know that's what's happening for the next 2 weeks. It's what's happened last week. The week before, I was just so exhausted. I'm not feeling that exhaustion anymore, so I feel very fortunate that whatever bounce back has occurred. And I think I'm going to be door dashing in the new year, probably on Saturday and Sunday. But even with that, I want to try to get at least 2 hours of writing. And then mostly at night after work, I come straight home, and if I, or at least this last week, I've been coming straight home to ideally prepare my food for the next day. Last night, though, I didn't really eat yesterday, so I wanted to cook food for me to eat last night. And that gave me a chance to, watch a show that I really love, an old show. But I'm like, if I don't have to eat after work, because I normally just eat one big meal a day, if I come home and cook that, pack it up for the next day, that gives me more time in the morning the next day. But I also may be able to squeeze in another hour of writing in the evening. We can get up to 2 hours of writing a day, 80 minutes if you include the breaks, but 120 total. And that could be almost 10 pages a day that I can get through. That would be huge. If I can get up to 10 pages a day, we can do this in like 2 weeks. We can get through this, because this is just the 0th draft. After that, I still have to edit for a first draft, which means I have to fill in the blanks. I have to basically, essentially, I'm pantsing for the first draft. But I do have a lot of notes because I'm actually a plotter. But writing by the seat of your pants is like, you don't know what you're doing until you're doing it. The reason why people get writer's block is typically people who pants. But even if it's somebody who's plotting, it's just your world is too vast, too diluted. You need to find out the small details. You might have to figure out something as simple as, how do each of your characters acquire food? So if you're creating a world, that might mean, oh, these people are hunters and now they do this. If you're not really creating a world, or you're creating an urban world, you might just have them, oh, they have this regular 9 to 5, and just answering that question, how they acquire food, what do they do to acquire food, it will help you fill in the gaps, so there's no more writer's block. If you get another block, okay, you know how they acquire food. How do they pray? How do they worship? Do they worship? Now you've made decisions about how religion works in your world, how religion works for your characters, how, if say they're atheists, now you potentially added another character trait for them. You know what I mean? So answer those small questions. You will never have writer's block again. So I look forward to figuring out those small details of my world as I write the first draft. The first draft can be such, I'm going to say it, I'm a weirdo now, but it can be such a sexual experience. It can be such a romantic experience. You're really dating your story. You're really getting to know your story. You're getting to know not just the plot points, but what did they say? Like, the dialogue for me is like the last thing that I do. So I try to get all of that pretty generally in place in the first draft. And then I do my second draft before anybody sees it. That's what I did last time anyway. So we might be up to draft 3 or 4 before I even let people see and critique things. I do have, my cousin who's my main critique partner, and I like to think of him as my publisher. I am my publisher, but if it doesn't satisfy him, he's my toughest critic. And he's also the one who's willing to spend hours talking to me about my story, as long as it doesn't interfere with his story. So I have to send him small episodes at a time, maybe even less. So I want to start sending him those, but not too early, but also not too late, because I had to rewrite the entire end of Exposing Lesser Demons, or rather the denouement. Yeah, so I had to rewrite the entire, basically, resolution in order for it to satisfy him. And it did end up going better. It's just not what I planned, but I did think it went better. It went smoother. I was like, duh, why didn't I think of that in the first place? It wasn't off of his suggestion. Like, what happened wasn't off of his suggestion, but the fact that I had to rethink it, that was all off of his suggestion. Initially, it was actually my ex-husband who was like, this is my critique, but I don't think you should change it because it's so dope. And then when I told my cousin that, the one that I live with now, he was like, oh, now that you said that, cuz you gotta change it. And he's really tough, and like, we annoy each other in the ways that we're so tough on one another. But it's also, in the end, the critiques that you appreciate the most. So yeah, I'm going to be sending him things probably before the second draft, because I don't want to have to rework the entire story beyond that point exactly, not if I don't have to, but I'll send it to the editor after I get my other beta readers and critique partners reading, and I'm going to give such small segments that I'm going to need a lot of critique partners and beta readers so I can spread out who has what. I want to make sure the biggest spoilers go to that cousin, and then I have another cousin who I want to get the biggest spoilers about this other character. So, but then there's all these new characters, there's all these new segments, there's so much. I would not be surprised if this book ends up being 600 pages. Oh God, it sounds so long. I'm gonna try to keep it to 400, but I mean, it's gonna be, I expect 3 to 8 times bigger than Exposing Lesser Demons, and I could not make this book so good if it wasn't for Exposing Lesser Demons being first, because there's whole plot, I want to say plot disasters, because it wrecked everything I was doing. Deana is not the main character of this world, but I had to essentially, I mean, I won't even say make her bigger, because I wanted her to be bigger anyway. I just didn't know how until I wrote Exposing Lesser Demons, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is going to be significant to the next part of the book and the entire rest of the series. But you won't know what I'm talking about unless you read Exposing Lesser Demons. And I'm talking so much, so I don't want this segment to be that long, but I just wanted to pass on some of the excitement that I feel for this project that I'm doing, and more importantly, the ways in which I'm reignited today, because every day I come back to you, give you an update on how much writing I did, but what you may not know is the level of excitement that I have. I just tell you, I'm so excited. It's going to be so good. I wish I can spoil things. Yeah, but it's going quite well. It's going to be gigantic. And thank you for tuning in. But also, you're welcome for this book that you're about to get. The time actually right now is 2:15, and I was able to get how much writing did I do today? It ended up being about 40 minutes, over an hour and a half. Excuse me, but I was also cooking and things like that. And I really liked my lunch. It was just a simple beans and rice, but it's so good. So I was thrilled to have my lunch today. And yeah, we had our last patient leave at like 1:40 today. So I'll be here by myself. It's 2:16. I'll be here until 5 p.m. by myself. So obviously I don't have a laptop yet, so I can write here, but I can do some reading. So I'm watching my last episodes of Good Mythical Morning, and I need to get that phone call, and I'm in reading after that. Today I got 49 minutes exactly before it was time for me to hit the road. And what else? Oh, yes. And today's section was very heavy in the Deana and Laz department. And I was about to spoil Exposing Lesser Demons by saying what happened to blah, blah, blah. If you know, you know. If you don't, get into it. I'm gonna go because I would like to make the next days of recording really short so I can make sure I can edit this whole video without having to delete stuff, you know. But I'm gonna do what I gotta do because you guys need this video. But I will see you soon. I will see you tomorrow. We did make it to a full hour today. We got to start at 6:30, so that literally is a full hour, and then I borrowed some time on the end to make up for the little breaks that I took to take care of the cat and like the 5 times I had to go to the bathroom. But anyway, whatever. So we're not late, but I like to be in the car 20 minutes earlier than this just because I like to be early. Okay, gotta go. All I can say is your girl did that. No. It is, what is today? I already typed it on the thing. Saturday. It is freezing. I emptied out all the stuff that I had in my car from last week. That's my blanket hanging down so I can keep my seats all nice. I have one more trip. I don't even know if I've been talking about it. Oh, yes, I was. Okay, I talked about it in the last video. I've been going like every Saturday to go pick up some things that I have in the last place I lived out in another city. and I'm bringing it home to where I live now with my dad. And almost done. I think this will be my last trip. Pretty sure. I think I'm just gonna make sure it is. I gotta look at the lens. I gotta remember that. So yeah. So today, what did I do today? So yeah, today I emptied out the things from the last trip, which, like I said, was a week ago. So I've just been driving around with all this stuff in my car because I don't want to do it at night and in the cold. So I did it in the day and it was still cold. But it doesn't matter. I'm just loading up the car tonight, doing some cleaning in that room that I was staying in, and then I'll be back. But I wanted to also make sure I did my writing, and my goal for today was to get through 10 pages of those old notes so that I could hopefully be on page 1100 by the time I start my writing for next week, which would put me at just, at this point, it would be 123, 24 pages. So it'll probably be a little more by the time I completely finish. However, I'm super excited because it looks like we're going to make that goal. I also have to edit this video tomorrow. And if 10 pages takes me equally as long as it did today, which will also let you know how long I wrote today, it'll be 2.5 hours. So yeah, a long time to get through those 10 pages. But it was so juicy because the notes that I landed on was all stuff that I just kind of completely forgot. And they were just like ideas. I think I might do this. I think I could do that. We might go this way. We might go that way. 2.5 hours of notes that, going through 10 pages of notes that I didn't really remember or recognize or know what to do with, or some items I was like, I still don't know if I'm going to land on this. And some things were like, oh, I did say I was going to do it that way, but I decided to do it that way. And now I'm interested in doing it the original way again. But then even on top of that, for example, well, I can't give you an example, but so there was one element I was like, I might use a child for this or an old person, and then I was like, maybe I'll use a love interest for this instead. But yeah, I don't want this to get too long. I just wanted to let you know I did write today on this Saturday. As you recall, the first Saturday that I recorded a couple of weeks ago, I didn't write at all. And then last week, I think I did 30 minutes because I just wanted to hurry up and get to the other city where all my stuff is and try to get as much as I could done as possible. And I did get a lot done. So today, unloading the car was a chore within itself. So basically, I did an hour, and then I came and unloaded the car, drove my recycling, and then I came back and did another hour and a half. And it wasn't based on time. I was just like, I'm getting these 10 pages done. And actually it ended up being 11 pages because I actually ended up on like 1079 yesterday, and I was like, I want to get to 1090 today. So I got to 1090. I'm 10 pages away from 1100. So let's see if we can make that happen tomorrow, while also going late, as you can see, late to another city that is an hour and a half away roughly, and giving myself more work to do. But because I did so much last week's end, on this Saturday I should have it pretty easy. I should, but this is also ideally the last day that I'll be working on this, because I'll probably be back in that town next week's end doing something different, something hopefully more fun. I don't even know if I'll be writing next week's end because there's so much to do, all fun, but it's just a lot for one day. So all the more reason for me to get as much done this Saturday and Sunday as possible with my writing, because tomorrow I'm only tasking myself with 10 pages, but I also have to edit this video, and this is the longest one yet as far as what I've recorded. So I'm going to try to make it as short as I can, crop out as much as I can, while still giving you guys the tea. And although I feel like I'm still going to let myself do all 10 of those pages, I am so close to finishing, and if I'm already thinking I might not write next Saturday, then I'm probably going to want to write like 4 hours next Sunday. And I still have to edit. So I don't know. I have to figure this out. I have to try to like maybe make my food in advance this week or something. I don't know. Eat takeout or something, just so I can steal a little more time for writing. And I'm even wanting to get back to door dashing a little bit. It's just a thought right now. But I like money, shoot. And just because I have a new job where I'm making, you know, enough money, I want to make even more. And I'm thinking about doing, I probably shouldn't say, and at this rate, only an hour a day, I might just have to forget about door dashing, because on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm probably going to be using that time to write my sequel, because I need it out. I need it for me. Like, I'm at this point, I'm dreaming about going into bookstores and cafes and being like, hey, you're a Black person reading a book. Would you be interested in this one? I literally dreamt about that last night. And I know I've been talking about, like, sort of playfully talking about manifesting my man. And there is this guy that I'm chatting with. He's really great, and I do like him. I just, I've been through a lot, emotionally speaking, and I'm not super ready to think very deeply about what I want going forward romantically, which is okay, because even that's on manifesting. It's like, go gently on the subject, and once it starts getting uncomfortable, get off the subject. So I've been spending a lot of time off the subject. He's great, and that's enough for me. I like a conversation that we had here and there, and that's enough for me. I don't want to think about what's next. The only thing I want to think about is my book. I'm listening to, like, sometimes I'll listen to romantic subliminals just because I notice that I immediately calm down when I listen to them. Sometimes I just sleep better when I listen to them. So even though I'm not consciously manifesting something there's something subconscious that I'm like, okay, I need to go even more gentle on this subject. And in the past, when I would listen, like, sleep to this one subliminal about finding your specific person, I would actually dream about romantic situations with people. Some of them I knew in real life, some of them I didn't. Mostly people that I knew in my real life. But now I listened to that last night for the first time in a week. I've been doing no subliminals for the last week, and I decided to do it last night because I was like, it might give me a good sleep. It's sleep-in Saturday, which is hilarious because I got up at 6:30. But I did go back to sleep for a short time after I took a shower and everything. And then I took a short nap until 10 a.m. But anyway, so I listened to that subliminal last night just to see if it still put me at ease. And it did. But my dream wasn't romantic about a person. It was about me being in love with marketing my book. And in my conscious moments, that's what I think. I feel like I'm dating my writing. I'm in love with my story. I'm romancing my art. And I mean, at this point, I'm being shown that not only is that a conscious thing, but a subconscious thing. And that is so thrilling to me. I don't think anything could thrill me even more right now. Like, I want my book real bad. That's all I really want. And I can see it. I know what the covers are going to look like. I know the titles. I am very, 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 very secretive. And the only reason I'm willing to say so much in this video is because I know not a lot of people are watching at this time. I'm milking the crap out of that. This is for me. So if you're here watching this, I greatly appreciate you. Maybe leave me a comment so I know you were here. But this is very satisfying to me right now, and all I want to do is whatever I need to do to get my books out really fast, but also very right. My fantasies are coming to reality right now, and I'm wishing that on everybody, especially if you're watching this video. If you're not watching this video, I'm still wishing it on you, but you won't know. So twice as much for those who are watching. Twice as fast. No, twice as sweet. Twice as sweet. So on that note, see you tomorrow. I am so tired. Today was weird. It's just so cold. I couldn't get out of bed. Did not finish everything that I wanted to do today, nor did I get to the 1100th page. However, I am only 4 pages shy. I do want to try to edit this video before I go to bed. And 4 pages is something I'm sure I can knock out in the rising. So what's coming up next is being at the 1100th page. And I guess that'll be in next week's video, assuming that this video isn't too late. So I'm going to see what I can edit this down to and see how soon we get it up. All right. See you next week. We did it! Okay, now, see, I have not edited the video very much at all, so I do think I'm going to add this to the video because we did it. 1,100 pages and done. I mean, not done. We still got 122 to go because I keep, like, making it to where it's like I'm closing all the spaces because I don't want it to go over 122 more. But, yes, 122 more pages. I'm sort of on time for work. I'm on time. I'd like to be earlier. But I look amazing. I mean, let's just forget about it. My hands are ashy. Let's not talk about it. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, I gotta go. However, I just wanted to say, I got to a part in the notes, right? Where it was just stuff that I didn't remember saying, but I know where the inspiration came from. I was like, I know where the inspiration came from. I was like, I remember looking at these cards and the different aspects of these different things. It's like an oracle deck, and I knew I was going to go through it. So I'm at those notes, and there were things that I suggested to myself. And for the most part, I've been like, not going to use that, not going to use that, not going to use that. But today, like just these last 4 pages that it took me to get to 1,100 in 40 minutes, by the way. I did it in 40 minutes. It was like 39, 38, something like that. But anyway, 39 minutes, 38 seconds, whatever. Ooh, 111. But anyway, yeah, because new beginnings, T. A lot of the notes today that I was inspired to add before, I wasn't sure if I was going to use them. I was like, oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. Oh, T. Oh, yes, I love that. So it was very like additions that I didn't consider again. But I'm glad that I went through this long 1,100 pages of notes thus far because it really, really, really inspired what's next. 40 minutes, page 1,100. That's the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment if you made it this far. Like it if you enjoyed it. And subscribe if you want to see more because I'm almost done with my 0th draft for 3 novels. Bruh, we in there like swimwear. I'm in the house like furniture, baby. Okay, gotta go. Peace. Hey, I just thought you should know I fixed this. And this one too. Fixed it. Please. I fixed it. I fixed that too.